Alright guys, today is February the 24th, 2020. Alright, so today we're going to be comparing linear versus quadratic equations, where linear obviously looks like a straight line, a quadratic looks like a parabola if you have the graph. This is not the linear parent function. The linear parent function is y equals x. But this is usually the format where we see it, where whatever's in front of the x would be your slope, and whatever is by itself is your y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. This one is the quadratic standard form. So again, your quadratic parent function is y equals x squared, but this is usually the standard form where we have more values, where c is your y-intercept, and so on. It says use a graph to determine the model, then write an equation to represent data. So let's say that I didn't know the answer, I already have it here. You would plot these points, -2, -7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, -3, 1, -1, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, though the points are not spaced out like exactly how we would like to see a slope, you can see it's a linear equation. Now, if you want, you can see that the y-intercept is -3, and you can go from one point to the next. It went up 2 over 1, so my slope is 2 over 1, or just 2x. My y-intercept is -3, so -3. Now, if I didn't want to do this by hand, I can use the calculator. I would go to New Document, number 1. I would go to List and Spreadsheets, and we're going to plug in x, where a is, very important, x, down, to the right, up. Where b is, we're going to put y, and we're going to plug in our table. So our table there, we started with -2, 0, 1, 3, 5. Okay. Then we go back up, and our first value is -7, -3, -7, enter, -3, enter, -1, 3, and 7. 7. All right, now, because in today's assignment we're going to be doing linear versus quadratic, it's hard to tell just from the table and plotting. I mean, if you're plotting points, great. But if you're in a test, they don't usually give you a graph. You could use a graph from another problem, but instead of doing that, we can go home and actually look at what the graph would look like if you go down to this one right here, data statistic, the purple one, and hit enter. Then down here, you want to click and select X. That's our X column. And then right here on the left, that's our Y column. Okay. And you can see it's going to be linear. Well, if I want the equation, the exact equation, I go to Menu, Analyze, then Regression, number 6. And then the very first one is linear regression. So pick that one, because you can see it's going to be a straight line. All right, and there's my equation, y equals 2x plus -3, but don't put the plus -3, it looks weird, just -3 will do. All right, the next one, let's pretend I hadn't done it already, and that's -3, +2, -2, -1, -1, -2, here, 0, -1, and 1, 2. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm trying to record and draw at the same time, and it's weird because I'm holding my phone. All right, so you could tell it's going to be quadratic, but what if they only gave me a little piece? What if they only gave me half the parabola with 1 point? Then I wouldn't be able to tell it was quadratic if they only gave me up to here. So one way of figuring out would be to use your calculator. Now, if you're going to do it again, make sure you click New Document, number 1, because if you don't, it's going to save the information from the previous one. And no, you don't want to save it. And then I go List and Spreadsheets again. Number 4. All right, select your X, enter it in A, enter Y in B, plug in your points. Okay, and -3, -2, -1, 0, 0, 1. All right, then our Y values, 2, 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 1, and positive 2. All right, then we go home, and we're going to do data statistics again. Not new document because it would delete the other one. We want to go data statistics, the purple icon. That's our vertical column, that's Y. Our horizontal column, that's X. Okay, and you can see that it's going to make a shape of a parabola. So when I go menu, analyze, and then we do regression, for sure it's not linear, it's quadratic. So that's going to be number 4, show quadratic. Okay, and there it gives me the equation for the quadratic equation for this parabola. Y equals x squared plus 2x plus a negative 1, so just minus 1 will work. So y equals, and I forgot the y equals, x squared plus 2x minus 1. All right, so that's how we do this first part. If you're going to use your calculator, which we are in class, let's look at the back, at the word problems. Careful on this problem. It gives us a story where you're going to record the computers, the value of computers from 1999 to 2003. And it says write an equation of line of best fit. Whenever it says line of best fit, that's when you're going to do linear regression or quadratic equation for sure. But since it's a line, you know it's already going to be linear regression, so hint, hint. Then predict the value of the computers. So if I want to use the table, I have to use the table actually to find the equation first. I have to do lists and spreadsheets, but watch out. You cannot use years in the calculator, it makes no sense. But in order for us to start in 1999, excuse me, that's going to be our starting point, so that's 0. So in 2000 from 1999 has been 1 year, pass, then 2 years in 2001, 3, 4, and so on. So when I plug it into my calculator, new document, I always want to start with a new document so it doesn't store the previous information. We do X, we do Y, and then we're going to plug in 0, 1, 2, 0, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and we go up to 4. Then 800, 720, 640, 572, 480. Okay. Then home and purple icon down here. Purple icon, data statistics. And select our X for X list down here. X on the Y column, X horizontal column. And then vertical column is Y. Okay. Then again, this does look linear, so it should be linear, but that's a big hint. It said line of best fit, so it was going to be linear anyways. Menu, analyze graph, regression, so menu for 6. Then linear is the very first one. And there is our equation. Y equals 78.8x plus 800. So we have to use the line of best fit, but that's not our answer. Like, that's not where we stop. It's still asking, write an equation, done, then predict the value of the computers in 2008. Well, in 2003, it's 4, so in 2004, it's going to be 5. 2006, right? 2004, 2006 would then be 6. 2007 would be 7. 2008, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, sorry, skip 5. 5 would be 6. 6 would be 7. 2007 would be 8. And the one 2008 would be 9. So if you're not sure what I'm doing, so it's 2006, 2007, and 2008. Okay, so it would be X would be 9. So in place of X, we're going to substitute in a 9. Okay, so then I go to a calculator page. I'm just going to go to that first icon. And we're going to do negative 78.8 parentheses 9 plus 800. Okay, 90.8. So the value would be 90.8 in 2008. All right, next one, it's a new story. It wants to know, you're dropping something from the Statue of Liberty. This is the time, this is the height, and it wants you to find the curve of best fit. So hint, hint, that would be our quadratic. And then it wants to know where it'll be at 7 seconds. So definitely new document. No, I don't want to save it. Plug in your list in spreadsheets number 4. X, enter, Y, enter, and let's plug in our table. And this one we don't have to change it because it's not years. It's just our Y values, X value, 2, 3, 4. So 305, oops, 305, 367, 397, 395, 361. Okay, then menu, oops, not menu, home. So we can look at the graph. Select Y column, select your X column. Okay, and you can see it looks like a parabola going down. So we're gonna go menu, analyze, regression, and we're going to go to show quadratic number 4 because it is a parabola. That would be a quadratic equation. And there's our equation. Y equals 78x plus 305. Y equals negative 16x squared. Wow. Plus 78x plus 305. And I don't know what I even said right now. Then it wants to know what it's going to be in 7 seconds. Well, that means that in place of x, because x is time, we're going to plug in 7. Don't forget that this x is squared. So make sure it's parentheses squared. And then there's 2 x's, there's another x here, so parentheses 7 there also, oops, plus 305. So I'm gonna go back to calculator page. We're gonna go negative 16 parentheses 7 close parentheses squared plus 78 parentheses 7 plus 305. Okay, so it's come down to 67 feet. So in 7 seconds, our height is 67 feet. All right. All right, guys, your assignment is page 61, 62.